Talk about today?
Playoffs are starting. No, not that.
Well, thank you all so much for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes podcast, and shout out to OG's Brands, the official sponsor of Flavoring Fridays. We'll need it today. Head on over to ogsbrands.com to see their full lineup, including their two newest gummies, the OG's Naturals and the Big OGs, and find out where you can purchase. Don't forget to hit that like button if you're watching this right now on YouTube. I'm Leah here with Petey, Craig, and Danielle, and we're going to break down everything from today's press conference with Alex Meruelo and Gary Bettman. But before we begin, how's everybody doing on this fine Friday afternoon?
It's a Flavoring Friday. I'm feeling pretty good.
I think that is the most appropriate sponsor for a show in the history of shows. Like, if you've been following this saga, OGs, and they should be a part of this PHNX Coyotes podcast. I'm just telling you. And if you want to see a shit show, you have turned into the right show. Clearly not our fault, because we are all professional. We talk in front of a microphone every day. We're really good at it. We're going to listen to somebody not so good maybe in the next few minutes. So please stay tuned. If you've got friends that like to see a train derailment, text them now, because you are about to see it live.
Well, how's that for a tee up of this one? First of all, we're going to go through some clips of things that stood out. There's a lot here, and momentarily the full press conference will be posted on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. But I just want to kind of run through some of the things that we learned that was maybe some newer information that we hadn't known before we talk about the things that were said and how they were said. So the first thing, again, and this was news to me, you can correct me if you've heard these before, was that the league first went to Meruelo about the potential of the situation on March 6th. So we've established a little bit of a timeline of when that happened, and his first reaction was no. And obviously...
Gary said it took a couple weeks to get him on board with that.
Yeah. So just we can set that. That was the first time.
Which, by the way, would explain a conversation I had with Gary Bettman on March 15th, where he was still saying, no, Alex wants to get this to auction and keep the team. So if it took him a couple weeks to get on board, that would explain why Gary was saying what he was saying to me at the time.
So, so the team will be inactive, but Alex Meruelo is free to attend board meetings still. He will not be an active voting member.
He does not have a vote.
No. Nope. But he can attend them if he wishes. And when he wishes to reactivate the franchise, he has to give a 1.5 year notice to do so. The full signatures on this deal happened at 2 a.m. yesterday. So we heard the announcement, obviously, midday yesterday. Clearly, they were working through the night to get this done. Couple other things. The rights to reactivate are personal to Alex Meruelo, and he can only bring in partners to own up to 20% of the club. He can't turn around and sell the team. He has to, if he does all of this and gets the team back and it reactivates, he has to own it for at least another 5 years. So like he can't just
that's a good sign, Leo. Thank God he gets to own it longer.
So he can't just flip the team, basically.
Just a detail to add, because I sat down with Gary Bettman afterward for a quick one-on-one before he hopped a flight to go to Salt Lake City, and then he's going back to New York City tonight. Crazy. Indication of what their schedules look like. But with that reactivation, it has to be 1.5 years. They have to give him a 1.5 years notice. We know it's the five-year window that he has to get this all done. The building has to be 50% complete before he gives that reactivation notice. They told me that in the meeting as well. Okay. So, yeah.
So, and again, I'm going to ask questions because, of course, we know I don't read rundowns or emails, so I wasn't there today. But so does that mean, Craig, at the 3-year mark, if there's not a shovel in the ground, a piece of land that's purchased, is he still have time to get this deal done?
No. And listen,
and I think that's important.
They'll even tell you that.
Because
Dudley
he
didn't tell you that.
said yesterday, when I say he, it was Alex Meruelo Sr., he went on and said he's going to use that full entirety of the 5-year window. But that does not mean at 5 years and 1 day he can put a shovel in the ground.
Right.
That means at 5 years he needs to have progressed to a certain state and activated his...
Flip side, like, and Gary alluded to this in other situations with the Tempe deal. If we hit 5 years and construction is not complete, but it's well on the way, and we can see this, Lee's probably not going to pull the plug. They're going to give him some wiggle room beyond that 5-year window.
But again, and I just want to make these points clear because I think that Alex Meruelo, I don't think has been clear. And I want to say so using all of that 5-year window, if there is not significant progress, land, building at least 50%.
Got to have land within a year, by the way. And I know people are focusing on this land auction, right?
Right.
If they don't win the land auction, that's not necessarily the end of it. You got to secure a piece of land within a year. He could pivot to one of those other two plots that he has a letter of intent on. You know, Mesa was one of them. We don't know the other, but they could pivot to that if this doesn't go well.
So the auction isn't necessarily the key date that we're all saying.
It doesn't kill it if that doesn't happen, but it's a big deal because, as we know, they moved away from Mesa for a certain reason. It wasn't zoned for what they want to do.
Right.
So you've got all those potential delays, and you're already cutting into your timeline.
Yeah, and I hate to keep harping on things. There are so many media outlets right now that are announcing different parts of this announcement, and pieces are coming in and they're stating them as fact. I just want to make sure. So if I ask several questions, I just want to make sure that this is the clear source of information as best as you're going to get it in North American media. And so that if I asked over and over, I just want to make sure people are very clear on what we're stating. So I just want to say that ahead of time.
Yeah, there were also some things said today as fact that were not fact and then had to be
unfacted.
Walked back a little bit.
Do you think he really hates us? He might.
But he doesn't know who the hell we are.
You know what? Like when he said that and people guessed, I was like, honestly, it doesn't matter. Maybe he does hate me, and that's okay.
At the dinner table.
I don't care. It doesn't matter if he hates us, but he does have to deal with us because that's part of being a professional sports owner. Yep. It's public. And listen, I've been trying, as people probably know who have followed me around, I've been trying to secure an interview with Alex Meruelo for a very long time. And at a certain point, I just gave up. It was accepted that Javier Gutierrez was going to be the public face of this franchise. And that was that. But now he's back in the public eye. Why has he decided to come? My personal take, they need everybody on board now. Right. This is what you could call controlling the message. So I'm just going to say this right now, right? Alex Meruelo spoke to two rights holders. He spoke to Javier Soto, their TV partner with ABC 15, spoke to Arizona Sports yesterday, who's on Burns and Gambo. By the way, I thought Burns and Gambo's interview was pretty good. They asked a lot of important questions. I thought they left a lot on the table. I thought they should have followed up on certain things that he said with better follow-up questions or follow-up questions at all. But I thought it was a pretty good interview. Javier Soto's interview was all about the future. Like didn't get into any of what happened here. And the Arizona Republic, I mean, I didn't need to read those reports at all because I didn't get anything from them.
The only thing he did in the Arizona Republic was walk back the comments he'd made earlier about Tucson Roadrunners.
Yeah. Which were what? Because he
said they're moving to Mullet.
But we've said this, and you get our information from Twitter. As I saw a report yesterday from a news station in Tucson that the Tucson Roadrunners are moving to Mullet, and it was stated as fact, and they're moving because of a comment made by their owner, Alex Meruelo, at the time that said we're moving to Mullet. What can you tell us now about that right now?
It's not certain. It's not anywhere near. They still haven't spoken to ASU.
And he said that.
He did. He finally acknowledged what I reported a week ago. Haven't spoken to ASU, haven't spoken to the city of Tucson about the 2 years remaining on their lease that would cost them about $3 million plus to break. Again, the language of the deal with ASU that the Coyotes signed when they moved into Mullet Arena, it specifically stated the NHL team named the Arizona Coyotes. It didn't say the Tucson Roadrunners. So what I was told by ASU sources, this would have to be a separate deal. You can't slide in on the third year of the lease because that lease is not with the Tucson Roadrunners. It's with the Arizona Coyotes. And that right now is a dormant franchise. So you have to rework a new deal. Aside from that, you got to talk to the AHL. And then there are other things to consider about playing at Mullet Arena, even if he does this split situation. Okay, we'll get into all this, right? Leah, you mentioned this. Oh, so now you're going to relocate two teams. You're going to take a team away from its fan base in Tucson. He didn't react well to that one either today. If you're going to play a split season between Mullet and Tucson, what sort of impact do you think that has on players and coaches and staff? Have they even thought about that? That is an impossible situation that puts such strain on a hockey team. at every level. That's insanity to consider something like that. And the last thing I want to throw out is the AHL is a weekend league. They play their games on weekends, and that's how the whole development process works. You can't just have one team that's like, we're going to play ours in the middle of the week. Well, who are you scheduling then? These teams aren't going to play 4 games in 5 days. That doesn't fit in the development schedule of the league. You have to get weekends. Guess what? ASU is going to have a lot of those weekends. ASU might have other events booked. ASU might take the Suns G League team in Mullet Arena. So you're going to have a lot of problems with playing at Mullet Arena.
Yeah, and again, I'm going to be redundant on a lot of these things. This is so far from being done. And it is not, I would say it's far beyond 50-50. Like all of the moving parts you just said have to happen within a month and a half, 60 days, 90 days before another schedule comes out. I don't think it's going to be extremely likely for them to play at Mullet. And then to move them full time, you've got to take other things into account. The Arizona Coyotes practice daily at the ice stand in Scottsdale, where they take up a large amount of space. Mm-hmm. They now have to negotiate with the ice stand. Yeah. And so there's no guarantee that facility is going to say, we'll walk. There's been issues. And I'm
what sort of issues?
I won't necessarily say, but they might not welcome this, the Tucson Roadrunners in with welcome arms. Let's face it, the ice stand in Scottsdale is full. They're full. Yep. They don't need another team there. They did this. Honestly, I think a lot of goodwill letting the Arizona Coyotes paid for their ice time. I'm not saying that, and for their space, but the ice stand bent over backwards to make sure that hockey stayed in the desert, because they understood the importance of what this did to youth hockey and what it did to the community. So I think the ice stand in Scottsdale has done an outstanding job at keeping this team viable in the desert and having allowed them a practice facility in the local area. And I'm not sure that would extend to the Tucson Roadrunners. Not saying it won't. I'm just saying it's another hurdle that hasn't been discussed, that is clearly not done yet.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should start to dive in. First of all, there were a lot of Tucson reporters there today, I will say. And, one of the questions, I think the idea when he kind of had first asserted this, then that he wanted to move them there, then kind of walked it back that it wasn't official. And then people today were challenging him on the logistical side. Because I guess the idea behind it was moving the team, the Roadrunners, to Tempe would help keep the business staff intact. And Alex Meruelo was asked about that situation with the Roadrunners and the situation with the staff, and if there's going to be any layoffs. Yeah. So let's listen to his answer.
What I can tell you is that we're going to look at not doing anything for the next 60 days to really assess the situation, but our intent is to keep everything intact, from the foundation to youth hockey to the actual business operations that we have. That'll be assessed, but our goal right now is to really understand where we're at. And also we're talking about, of course, bringing the Roadrunners to Mullet, but we have not done anything with ASU. We need to make sure that we have an agreement and we move forward.
And you have approval by the AHL Board of Governors that have to approve the relocation from Tucson. And the fact that there might not be a firmer plan than what Alex just laid out. Remember, his first awareness of this was March 6th. And it took a couple of weeks of discussions, and the amount of lawyering and documentation and discussion and negotiation that had to go on in record time for a transaction that, at least in my time in sports, I've never seen before. We were creating some new ground in terms of how we did this and structured it. It's not surprising that there aren't complete answers yet in terms of how the Coyotes will staff themselves and plan themselves moving forward during the inactive period.
So there you have it. He finally addressed that he had not contacted anybody about officially making that move. And then he also stated publicly that 60 days is they're going to try and keep the staff on for 60 days.
Yeah. And you can imagine how nervous the staff is, because they're hearing a couple of different things. They also heard 30 days. Listen, it could happen in a week.
I am sitting here, and I don't mean to be laughing, because I've been in that room. I've been on that other side, and I'm sorry. By the way, if there's kids listening today, probably not a good choice, because it's going to be a tough day for Petey. That's bullshit. Like if I'm sitting at a desk right now for the Arizona Coyotes in their business operations department, do you think I'm going, oh, He said 60 days. Well, at least I have this kind of time to prepare, get my health insurance in order, plan for a new job, get my resume tightened up, and I'm going to be here in 60 days. Do you think there is one person sitting at their desk right now that believes him? Because I don't. I heard from several employees at the last game that they are desperate for information, and I'm not sure after hearing him that that's going to give me any confidence or peace in that things are going to be okay. I tell you what, I'm scrambling right now if I'm an employee.
I don't mean to go out of turn here, Leah, but you asked him specifically about that, about why he hadn't met with. I don't know if we have that or what you put together, but please address that.
Yeah. So and I understandably so about the fact that this deal was being worked on and he couldn't speak about it publicly. I think the three of us have acknowledged that we understand why he couldn't make a public statement. And it was clear in the statement that the Coyotes released last weekend that that was the case. However, even before we knew any of this over the last week, we had heard that Alex Meruelo was going to address the staff members about a lot of these questions. Like, this is months ago even. And we had heard that he canceled.
Or didn't show up.
Or didn't show up.
Yeah.
Numerous different planned meetings. So, and at one point, Gary and Alex addressed the fact that they couldn't address things publicly. So I asked a question. Okay, I understand publicly you can't address, but internally, why did you not talk to your staff before yesterday or the players to address their concerns, and why were multiple meetings canceled? And like before Alex Meruelo could speak, Gary Bettman said, I'll answer this because for the umpteenth time, this has been ongoing and it can't be taught, and kind of like shut that down right away and was seemed pretty annoyed by it. But I really felt strongly about asking that question because based on the interactions with staff that we've all had, and I felt like that was pertinent to be addressed.
I definitely have a thought on this. Listen, I get that there was basically a gag order, right? You can't talk about the deal. Alex Meruelo can't stand up in front of his staff and say, hey, we're moving to Salt Lake City. Don't spread that. Like, good luck. Like, 300 some people, whatever it is, whatever the number is, it's going to get out. You can't do that. Here's what he could have done. And here's what good leadership does. Good leadership is not just about meeting financial goals, all these targets, this tangible on the ground stuff. It's also about managing people. And you could step in front of your people and say, listen, I know there are a lot of rumors swirling. I wish I could address them. I really wish I could. I can't say anything right now. You can imagine the reasons why I can't say anything. I just want you to know that I understand your concerns. I understand everyone's uncertain about their future right now. We hear you. We feel for you. I just can't say anything. As soon as we can, we will. That's how you manage people. You show that you have a relationship with them, and that didn't happen.
Yeah, again, it goes back to my frustration with this whole thing. And I understand the business ramifications. For me, it is about the people. And I believe if this ownership group from day one would have embraced people, and I don't just mean the employees.
Yeah.
I mean the players. I mean the community. I mean the fans. I mean people. I think we would have a different outcome right now. I don't know if anything got farther than a balance sheet with this ownership group. I don't know what ever got further than their checkbook and their bank balance. And I don't know if you can operate a sports franchise without including people. And again, we're all fans here too of different varying sports teams. I don't know if I necessarily care that I have to like my owner. I don't know if that's important.
Yeah.
But I want my owner.
In this city,
yeah,
there are a lot of examples of.
But I do think it's important that I believe in my ownership group, that he's going to do the right things, that he's going to do the right things for my franchise, going to do the right things for my team, going to do the right things for my community. That is important to me because it reflects on me as a fan of that team. And I think that that's what Mr. Meruelo has missed all along. This has always been about the Meruelo family, and it hasn't been about the Coyotes hockey family. And that distinction is going to come up over and over again today. And I think the concern is that's going to come up over and over again over the next 5 years. And I'm not sure if that Coyotes family is ready to welcome his family in right now. And that's a problem.
Great point. We've barely scratched the surface, by the way, of the comments that are going to get made, and I promise we have plenty more clips to get to. But in order to do so, PD, let's crack open our beers.
We've been ASMR.
This is a day for drinking.
I wish I could join.
I know.
Thank you, Four Peaks.
Yes, thank you,
Kilt
Four
Lifter.
Peaks. And I will
daytime drinking.
We'll be drinking Four Peaks next Wednesday, the 24th of April, because we will be at Four Peaks for a celebration of the Coyotes community, the one-pack event. $5 tickets, all donations support the Arizona Cachinas.
Because we're actually putting our money where our mouth is. This is not going to PHNX. This is going to youth hockey, the Kachina program in Arizona, because we're supporting youth hockey, period.
Already raised $1,400 for the Kachinas in less than 48 hours, and we continue to welcome donations. If you're out of state and can't make it, there's a place on the event to make just a donation if you are willing and able. So we're looking forward to this. This is going to be a great event. It's going to be a celebration. We want, people are going to speak. We're going to have photos. We're going to have videos. It's just a place to come together and celebrate the memories that the Coyotes gave us.
Yeah, and we've talked to a lot of staff people that I know. I've talked to two groups of staff people this morning that have already bought their tickets and are planning on attending. And I know Craig and I and Leah are all going to reach out to the Coyotes extended family and hopefully get some of those people to attend as well. This is a place to celebrate the organization of what has happened in the past and some of their milestones. And I felt with all of the great things that happened in that final game, Craig, I didn't feel that I appropriately was able to celebrate the great things about this Coyotes franchise. And I'm not talking ownership. I'm talking about the franchise. I'm talking about celebrating Keith Tkachuk, celebrating 2012, celebrating Shane Doan. I think that's what this is all about. This is a happy moment, and make sure you come and help support the hockey community.
Absolutely. Well, it's we'll be down in Tucson tomorrow, like we mentioned, and Petey, I think we might need to have a little action on that game.
Oh, buddy,
over at BetMGM
Roadrunners.
Yep, because you can bet on the Roadrunners. The NHL playoffs also get started tomorrow. How could I forget to mention that? That is prime time to bet. Get all your future bets in today. Who's going to win the cup? Who's going to win the conference? Get all those in today, because as soon as the game starts, the odds are going to change, and you can do all of that over at BetMGM. You will be surprised how many different categories they have on there for just the NHL playoffs. So sign up for BetMGM, use the code PHNX, place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app for at least $10. You'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if that bet loses. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Bonus bets expire in 7 days. One new customer offer only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, North Carolina, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Did you have a bad press conference today? Are you looking for a place to hide after your stupid comments? I've got an idea. Why don't you check out Gila River Resorts and Casinos and find yourself a little staycation? You can sit at the pool with a margarita. Just make sure you wear your sunglasses so no one can recognize you. I tell you what, Gila River Resorts and Casino, they set the bar extremely high on entertainment. They are setting the bar so high. They've got their table games. They've got the largest sportsbook casino in the state of Arizona. Their dining experience ranges from low to high end. Jump up to Shula's up on the top. And I tell you what, their showroom, no seat farther than 75 feet away from the stage. And no kidding, Craig, you know what's coming? 38 Special is coming to Wild Horse Pass. And Jesse's girl, Rick Springfield, is coming later this summer.
Ron Wolfley, that's his favorite song in the world.
To Wild Horse Pass and Casinos. So make sure you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details.
All right, well, let's start off this next part with a banger.
Okay.
Remy Masti asked Mr. Meruelo, Mr. Meruelo, in the 5 years of ownership, why have you not done more media appearances? And here's what he had to say.
Because I don't like the media. And in fact, it's funny, I own 2 TV stations in Los Angeles, 5 radio stations in Los Angeles, and I've never once been on any radio or any TV. I don't like the media. I'm very... I avoid media for many reasons.
Let me translate that a little bit. I don't think anybody should take that personally. I think he doesn't like being a public person, yes. Right? And not that he dislikes the media, because as he says, he owns media, and all of you he wasn't referring to. It was some people don't like to be that out there in public. And, you know, he wouldn't be the only owner in any sport who feels that way.
Let me clean it up. He's exactly right. I didn't mean it that way. I was being facetious, okay? Bottom line, I am involved in media for many years, but I don't like the limelight. I never have, and I don't feel comfortable with it. And so I can tell you that I've been very involved from day one. For 5 years, I, along with my family, along with Javier Gutierrez and the entire team, have been very involved in this hockey operations to make the changes that are necessary to now what I believe is a great group of young players, and they're going to do extremely well as they move forward. Okay, but yes, you know, I've learned that if you don't say too many things, you don't get in trouble.
Second row on the aisle.
Okay. So the last statement I think that was true, that you should keep your mouth shut if you have nothing like that. Here's what that reminds me of. So this is when you're at a social event or a public event and you let your little kid on the microphone. And dad is just sitting there in the background going, please, God, don't say anything stupid. Please don't say anything stupid. Please. Oh, wait a minute. And what he really means is that's a dad and his kid. This guy owns media companies. Legit, right?
Yep.
Owns media companies in California. And that's a guy who's responsible for a large staff, a large amount of people, a franchise in professional sports. And he comes out needing to build bridges and he needs to build relationships. And somebody better have told him that. And he comes out with, I hate the media. That is the first brick he has laid in the bridge of rebuilding relationships in the state of Arizona, telling the people in the room, I don't like you. That is a big swing and a miss. And Gary Bettman, who is incredibly intelligent, Gary Bettman is one of the best public speakers in sports. He understands what to say, when to say, and who he's saying it to. He was cringing listening to Alex Meruelo speak. That was horrific. That was embarrassing. That should never have been public. They shouldn't let him get in front of a microphone. They just shouldn't. And to think that that's what we're looking forward to as a hockey community going, oh, please get a team back. We want you here, Alex. Run the show here in Arizona. Are you out of your mind? That's how you start the day? I don't even know where you go from here, Craig. I swear, I don't know where this man goes to try to embrace this hockey community because they just do not believe in him.
I honestly don't know what to add to that. We were all stunned. We were all stunned.
Yeah.
And listen, from a personal standpoint, if he hates media, okay. I don't care, really. I'm still going to do my job. But it was stunning to hear it and then have Gary have to walk it back for him because you didn't realize that you shouldn't say that in a news conference.
But in front of him, it's one thing if you just say it to someone on the side. You're literally on a podium that's a news conference that's being live streamed, that every news station in the state of Arizona is there. There's 50 reporters in the room. And it's one thing to say, you know what, I don't like doing media. That's a different statement than I don't like media. And, you know, as soon as he walked it back, sure, maybe that's what he was trying to say in that moment. But if there's any time to be calculated and careful about what you're saying, it's on a podium like that. And you can see in the whole press conference when you watch it, Gary Bettman is somebody who knows how to be in front of a camera. Right. He knows how to speak. He knows how to dance around things that he doesn't want to actually say. Like, that is a trained professional. I just don't understand how you could not have prepared for the potential question.
There was some preparation going on. But this is, I mean, we see now, like as Alex said later, he's not comfortable in this setting. And now we understand why Javier was out front all the time rather than Alex Meruelo. But you got to have the sense not to say things like that. Like I said, I'm not offended. I don't care. I don't care what he does in terms of his feelings about the media. I'm still going to do my job. But you just don't say that. And you have to know that you don't say that.
Yeah, here's two things. One, you have to understand that he is motivated by money. That's one. But he also has to understand to make more money and to be ingratiated back into this community, he needs to speak differently. And I think that that's just common sense. I'm not talking about business smarts or business acumen. I am talking about common sense that he should know. I don't care if he pauses for 10 seconds before he speaks and thinks and goes, okay, what should I really do here? I would appreciate that. But I'll tell you the other thing. And I think this really goes to the role of public relations inside a sports organization. I know a lot of guys that work in PR. And their job is to prepare their client, whether it be a player, a staff member, or an owner, on what's coming and what to be prepared for and what your talking points are, right? That's the role of what the PR people, or you said a media consultant or a media trainer, their role is to say, here's what's coming, be ready.
Yep.
And what this proves to me, somebody clearly told him what to say and what not to say, and be careful of these things. And if you're not comfortable with the topic, steer it a different direction. And if you don't like the question, answer this instead. I guarantee someone told him that.
Yep.
This shows me he doesn't listen. And he's not concerned about what other people says because he's the smartest guy in the room. Guess what? You blew it today. You blew it. Like, I really want to like him because I want a hockey team back here. And I know he is the quickest path to getting there.
Yeah.
So I want to like him and embrace him. And he just turns me off of him every single time he speaks.
When you speak to media, I want to go back to the reports, so the outlets that he did speak to, and two of them are rights holders, and then there's AZ Central, but they had reporters in who are not around the team or don't have the sources to cross-check or understand what they should be asking. So that was, they just didn't. Those were superficial reports in AZ Central. Again, I thought Burns and Gambo asked some good questions.
Yes.
There were some good questions in that interview, but what you call this in PR is controlling the message. That's what the Coyotes were doing with those three chosen outlets, controlling the message. Burns and Gambo did the best job of not letting them control the message. Like the ABC 15 was just about, okay, what do we need to do to get this arena built? Not like, hey, can we talk about the fact that we just lost a franchise? Let's go there. And AZ Central, again, I really didn't get anything out of their reporting. Burns and Gambo at least held his feet to the fire on some of these things, right? But you want to control the message? You know, the thing, and I asked this question later in the news conference, I'm really surprised that they haven't framed it around what a financial challenge this has been for Alex Meruelo. Now, mind you, could he have done better due diligence? Could he have known that what he was stepping into? All that probably should have happened. But even though they were having some success at Mullet Arena, you knew this team was losing money hand over fist, and nobody was talking about it. I'm not saying that everybody out there under the sun is going to be sympathetic to a guy who's losing, tens of millions of dollars, because most of us can't conceive of that, and we don't have pity for it. But I think some people would. I think some people at least would hear that. Like, you remember the conversation I told you I had with him for like 10 seconds when Rich Nairn put him on the phone with me.
Yes. And
he said, I asked him how he was doing, and he said, well, every day I wake up, Craig, I lose money. That hit me. That struck me like, okay, I don't know what that reality is. And I always try, when I'm talking to someone and when people are criticizing someone, I always try to step into their shoes and imagine their reality, their constraints, what they're dealing with. Alex Meruelo's losing a lot of money, but we haven't been messaging that at all. That was a way, not necessarily to control the message, but at least to make people understand, hey, this hasn't been easy for me.
Right.
I'm losing tons of money on this team, okay?
Yes.
And I'm certain that colored a lot of his decisions. But nobody's talking about that. I asked about it. I think we have the clip.
Yep.
Well, you have to understand, yes, the ticket revenues have been far exceeding what we did in Glendale, 100%. But also, I just finished telling you, it's 4,500 seats. It's very hard to compete when you have an arena that's 4,500 seats. And that's one of the reasons we're here in the first place. I do believe strongly that when we get to a new arena in the right location, 18,000 facility, I believe we could be top 10 in league revenue team. I'm sorry, were you cutting me off? No. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm very comfortable that if we have the right location with a new arena in a new district, we could be top 10 in the league when it comes to generating revenues, period. What has impacted me is the situation to be in Mullet, where we were hand-tied in so many ways that I couldn't really give the first class. And I did as much as I could as far as our, sports science, nutrition, analytics. I mean, I gave everything hockey operations asked for and more. But you have to understand, we were constrained by the facility, we were in different buildings. It was not a good situation.
Well, and that's the point. From our standpoint, it's not a major league facility, and
it's not.
We had enough time in a college rink, as nice as a college rink as it is. The question that you're really asking is, was he losing a lot of money? You betcha. He was losing a ton.
Thank you for that. I didn't want to say that because I don't think, look, at the end of the day, fans don't really care.
I got it. I said it. You don't have to say it. Yeah. But no, he did what he had to do. I mean, the club is a club in good standing, and even though it's now going to be inactive, but they were meeting their obligations as they came due, despite the fact that the expenses were greatly exceeding the revenue.
Well, and I'm going to say that to start.
Hey, I got it.
Okay. Like, what in the hell? What did we just see? Like, these are professional businessmen. Are you out of your mind? Unbelievable.
Well, again, why wasn't this messaged? Answer me that. Like, they don't want to talk about their loss. Okay, you don't want to give me a number.
I lost money.
I've heard they lost north of $60 million this year.
Tell us that. Is it that hard?
Do you think that might impact some people's opinion? It probably would. Like, holy crap, you lost more than $60 million? Wow, okay. I got a little bit of sympathy now. But they're not messaging that.
And then the other comment to me that strikes home is, well, Mullet's not a first-class facility. Then you know what, buddy? Find another effing answer. Because you know who put you in Mullet? You did.
Yeah.
You did. Now, I don't know what could have been done in Glendale, and I'm not going to sit here and make reporting comments today. I know we've talked publicly that it's 12 years. I'm not personally convinced that could have been worked differently, because if you made it 5, we're going to hit 5. Maybe you make it 7 and have an out clause. I don't know. All I'm saying
maybe
is...
you could have made it 5 and you're going to pay a little more. You're going to pay a premium.
But find a better answer.
Yeah.
Find a better answer, because if this team was in... If this team was in Glendale right now, he'd still be losing a shit ton of money, but they'd still be in the National Hockey League. And so don't leave until you've got it figured out. Don't burn that bridge until you've built a new one. And he didn't build a new one. And to Greg Powers and ASU, and he said that's a beautiful building. That is a fantastic college arena. We love it. It's brand new. We love watching hockey games there.
Gary Bettman said the same about
and
it being
he
a
did.
College arena.
It's just not ready for the National Hockey League, and nor was it intended to be such, and it was not billed as such. So I cannot believe that there wasn't a better plan. We went and looked at the Madhouse on McDowell. We went there, right?
Yep.
And it's a dump. Sorry to whoever the city owned that now for the state fairgrounds.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. There's no ice rink there. Like ice
There's cracks in the foundation. We saw it. We were
no
like,
ice plant. The seats need to be remodeled. However, it would still have been better to say, let's put our money into this facility again. And I don't know what if it's $300 million,
suites
then
there,
it's not.
so that there's a real challenge with the Coliseum. But
again, if Mullet isn't the answer, don't go there.
Yeah.
I'm so frustrated by him. That's like, well, we didn't know. Well, you knew it when you moved in there. You knew it was a snake when it tried to take you across the river. Sorry, Leah, that's a reference with a frog, and I'll tell you later after the show. But he knew what he was getting into when he built that building. And if it was so important to find another solution, find one quicker than now. He had time.
He also said a few times that Glendale wanted it to be 20 years. He said that a few times. So, okay, well, we still have more to get to, but first, this is an OG's Flavoring Friday, and OG's will be flavoring our weekend, flavoring your watch of the full press conference, if I would invite you to do that. Yeah, OG's will be out at Buds-A-Palooza. That's tonight, right, Max? Yes, Buds-A-Palooza. OG's will be out there as well. So what a great weekend to get your hand on some OGs, whether you're looking for Indica, Sativa, Sleep Edition, Microdose, Happy Balance. Maybe Happy Balance is what we all need.
Could use a little Happy Balance about now.
Delicious flavors, the fruits, the creams. Just amazing, and there's something for everyone, locally scratch made here in Arizona. So to learn more about OG's gummies and where you can find them, head on over to ogsbrands.com. Must be 21 or older to enjoy responsibly.
And then head over to Circle K. It is America's thirst stop, snack stop, and gas stop. If you're filling up your tank, Stan, and you're heading to Salt Lake City, stop on Circle K on the way out of town and fill up all those equipment trucks with Circle K. And before you fill them up, make sure you become a part of their free membership program, the Inner Circle. Easy to do. Download the app and you save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups and 3 cents per gallon on every gallon after that. And you get every 6th item free on a selection of their great Circle K products, like their pizza, their coffee, and their ice cold fountain drinks. It's so easy, even I can do it. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details.
Petey, I know you had a question for Craig before we move on.
So, Craig, it's easy to sit here on this side of the camera and throw aspersions to people like to other interviewers and saying, well, they didn't ask the right questions. And in their interview, one interview was softballs, one interview sponsored, one guy didn't follow up. So my question to you, because you are of this panel, you are the reporter. So my question to you, and I want to get this out there, my question to you is where are the questions you prepared for your one-on-one with Alex Meruelo Sr., and where are his answers to those questions when you sit down together and ask him the questions that honestly, only you in the state of Arizona know the questions to ask? Because unfortunately for some of the reporters that ask questions, literally haven't seen a hockey game all year. They literally know nothing. I'm sorry, but you are in the inner workings. You know the correct questions to ask. So casting stones, glass houses, all that. Why in the hell don't we have interviews questions from you?
Well, I thought I was going to,
What?
and it was scheduled, but it was canceled.
Huh?
Alex Meruelo canceled my one-on-one with him today. That was supposed to happen after the news conference. I did still sit down with NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman, but Alex canceled it, and make of that what you will.
Huh. So again, following up, because we want clarity here. So he did not have to answer the tough questions with follow-ups.
There were plenty of tough
I will
questions.
say there were some
asked
really
during
great
the news
questions,
conference,
yeah.
but I have a lot more questions that went
Yeah.
unanswered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will you put those somewhere? So we
I
can know
will.
what we're
I'll put
asking?
them in the story that I write tomorrow.
Okay.
Now, listen, there's a possibility that I may still speak to Alex, and
Okay.
I hope I do, and I'm willing to, and I'll be professional. I'll be respectful. I think I always am in interviews. Alex wouldn't know because he's never sat in an interview with me, but that is how I approach interviews, and I think anyone who I have interviewed will tell you that. I am open to that. I will be respectful. It will not be an attack, but I will ask the questions that need to be asked, the fair questions that need to be asked, questions that have not been asked yet.
Okay, well, one of the questions, and this was a really good one on behalf of the fans, because there's a lot of fans who have concern, who have already put deposits down on season tickets for next season. What's going to happen? And we do have the message that was sent to fans this afternoon. But first, here's Alex Meruelo's response to what's going to happen to fans with season tickets.
Okay, so first of all, again, I was being facetious, okay? I was being facetious. I do love the media. I'm in the business, so I'm trying to understand that, number one, okay? I just don't like the limelight. In regards to your next question, I think you had 3 questions. What was the second one?
Season ticket refunds.
Question is addressing season ticket holders, because from what I've heard, you guys haven't addressed them specifically, and then refunds for season ticket deposits that have been made.
And you also said I hadn't spoken. The reason why I haven't spoken was because I wasn't able to speak. I've been for many years, basically for 4 or 5 years, I've been either gagged, threatened, or I can't speak. Now I'm finally here and I'm speaking. As far as the ticket refunds, I know we're addressing that, but again, this is all happening right away. Just give me a little bit of time, and it will be addressed immediately.
No, there wasn't anything he could say because until it was done, it wasn't done. I mean, there were a lot of leaks, and I'm not a big fan of leaks, but there was uncertainty until it was done. This is a highly complex transaction, and I'll reiterate, one that he didn't ask for. And at the end of the day, we were trying in real time to accomplish what we needed to do. And it wasn't like somebody had been sitting on this for 2 years and had been planned out in advance. Again, this wasn't done until yesterday at 2 a.m. But and season ticket refunds will be made immediately.
Immediately. We're going to look at it and we'll address it immediately. Just give me a chance to breathe a little bit. It's been very, like Gary said, it's been overwhelming.
Okay. The comment, just give me a chance to breathe. It's been overwhelming. I'm sure it has.
Sure, it's hard.
But I think there are times that call, maybe internally, maybe you want to wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and scream and cry and just have it. And then you walk out and it's not about you. It's not about you. You have people's money. Mm-hmm. And then it'll be addressed immediately, but it won't. I don't know. It's just.
I'll get to it soon, immediately. I think that's as clear as a bell for me. We'll get to it soon, immediately. Buddy, you've got the money. And by the way, he's got a little extra money right now today. Just from what we're hearing, got a little touch extra. So guess what? We're on it today. We're on it today. Our entire staff, that's our focus of the business staff today. We want to take care of our fan base that took care of us. We want to make sure that you guys are here putting those deposits back into the Arizona Coyotes franchise when we're ready to build a arena and commit to you. We're going to get those out today. That is our full business up. That's what we're focused on today. Yeah. Is we're going to take care of you because you took care of us and supported us through these hard times. And we want to make sure that we take care of you and you're back supporting us when the time comes. Buddy, I'm not a billionaire. I'm not media trained. I just gave a better answer in 5 seconds. And guess how long I thought of it? 5 seconds. Like, it's not that hard. Like, do better. Do better.
Yeah. Just a follow.
I'm glad you're here to calm things down, Craig.
Just to follow to the fact that I did not get that one-on-one. I'm sure a lot of people are like, hey, are you going to have a story today? I'll probably have a story by the morning because, quite frankly, I'm going down to Tucson because we're going to go see the Roadrunners. I'm heading down shortly after this show ends. I'm going to collect my thoughts and write a column instead of writing. I had planned to write a Q&A, but I think we have the entire press conference on.
It's up on YouTube.
It's up on YouTube anyway. So if you want to watch the news conference, go ahead and watch it on YouTube. All the answers to the questions that were asked in that news conference setting are there. I will add context to some of that with the one-on-one that I had with Gary Bettman. That'll be in my column, but I need to collect my thoughts because this day changed entirely from what it was supposed to be. I found out this morning that I wasn't getting that one-on-one with Alex Meruelo, and it changed a lot of the plan. And then things were a little chaotic there too. I didn't know what to expect from this news conference. I didn't know what sort of information, what the tenor of it was going to be. A lot of things were a surprise to me today. So I'm going to collect my thoughts on the drive down to Tucson. Let my wife drive. Maybe
you let your wife drive down there?
Maybe not. And
I've seen that electric hybrid car.
You'll get a call from me when you
way.
wake up in the morning when I'm in Tucson and I've had some time to digest this. But wow, what a cap to an insane week this news conference was.
There's more.
Yes, there is.
There's more?
There's more.
Wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. One of the biggest questions in all of this, and I do appreciate there was a lot of advocacy I felt for the fans on behalf of the media in this. And again, you can watch the full conference on our YouTube channel now.
Because again, it's about you. It's about the community. You are the stakeholders. You are the people paying the bills. And that part has been missed somehow over and over and over again. This is a public-facing enterprise. It's different from all those other industries you run. The fans matter. Public perception matters. Sorry, media matters as well. All of that matters when you own a professional sports team. So it's time to figure that out.
Oh, and by the way, I did want to address, just coming off the last clip, about the season ticket holders. So season ticket holders received an email like right before we went on air. And I won't read the whole first part because it's just rehashing everything we already know. But they said, we will maintain our commitment to support and grow youth hockey throughout the region and keep the Arizona Coyotes Foundation alive. We look forward to continuing to serve all you and our most loyal customers, blah, 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 blah. Hold on. While we focus our efforts on relaunching the Coyotes, we want to present you with your options as a valued season ticket member. Refunds will be processed and issued for Coyote season ticket members for the 24-25 season. We intend to honor all obligations under your season ticket member agreement. We will provide you with additional information next week on how to request refunds. Request refunds. That wording was interesting.
I'm not going to request
still
it.
owns the team, and they'll be back in,
So
I'm not going to request
6
it.
years.
Why don't you guys just keep it?
In the meantime,
okay.
Please feel free to reach out to account representatives with any questions. To all of the account representatives, let me send you some OGs.
Yeah,
That's
boy,
all
howdy.
I gotta say.
Flavoring Fridays we should actually come up with a program for OGs Flavoring Fridays for Arizona Coyotes ticket representatives. Pretty sure they're going to need it. A little happy balance.
Yeah. Yep. So that I did tweet the full email that was sent on my account. If you want to go take a look at that. But anyway, just speaking of the fans, one of the things that we've talked about every single day is just the loss of the entire hockey team, hockey staff, hockey operations. And there was a quote yesterday from an article. All I did was send the hockey ops and staff to
the
Utah.
players. All I did is send the players and the hockey operations
Still
staff.
have the team.
Still have the team.
The logos.
Wait, what?
The logos. We still have the logos.
Wait, what?
But all
we
he
have a
did-
graphic artist department here. We can make logos. Pretty sure. Can you make a logo, Jacob, of just things? Yeah, we got that covered. We can do logos. You know what we can't do? We can't play professional hockey. That one we can't check that box. Although Danielle's trying, she's learning, just not quite there yet. We can't do that. I don't know if he understands the team.
Team's gone. The team's gone.
The team and your fandom isn't about a jersey. It's about the players inside
You didn't
them.
keep the team. You didn't keep the team. You kept the rights to the team. You
It's
kept
funny.
You
Can't
didn't keep
make
the
this
team.
up.
The team's gone, and it's killing people. It's killing people that the team is gone.
Can I ask a question about that? Because we're talking about the fans. Because I didn't go. Again, we reiterate, I don't read emails. Was there ever a message from him? And there may be. I'm not being facetious. Did he ever go up to the fans of the Arizona Coyotes? I would like to say X.
Yes, he takes full responsibility. He did all that.
Good.
There were pieces of what he said
Good.
today that were
I will go back and
sentimental,
listen.
and
He did.
yes, that
His
part was
opening
good.
statement, He said,
Good.
Yeah,
That was
"I
appropriate. It was good."
apologize." Yeah.
I'm glad that's
But
out
that
there.
was the part that he read off the paper.
Yeah, but that's okay. Listen, again,
No, it's fine. Not in the sense that it was written for. Like, I'm not saying that. It was prepared and there was thought. That
and for a guy who's not comfortable with media, that's okay.
Yes,
Yes,
totally.
I agree.
Say the words.
I want to see that
Express
message.
the sentiment.
So, I want to make that clear. That's great. That's, and I'm glad that was the first statement he made because I think that is the most
But
important.
I got
piece of
the
this.
first question, and I wanted to make it clear. And this is not an attack on Alex. This is who's the conduit to this community of all the media in this town? Who's the conduit to this community? It's us. We
PHNX.
are the outlet that people come to for Coyotes coverage. There is no questioning that.
No.
We know how the fans feel. Do the fans feel like Alex Meruelo is sympathetic to them?
No.
Not
one of
Not a shred of sympathy
one-
to them
not
are they
one-
feeling.
not
And mind
one.
you, fans are emotional, right? Like if they get the expansion team back in 5 years, do you think people will come back? They're like, oh, we want to support Morelos.
Absolutely they will.
I think
And Gary
absolutely
Bettman
they will. A
even-
bunch of them will come
Gary
back.
Bettman
I
even
know how
said that.
fans behave. They'll come back.
Well, and I will too, Craig.
Yes.
I will.
But right now, in this moment, they're not feeling like you care about them at all. And I might add, when he talked about, needing to make this move for the players, it wasn't right. Could you look the players in the eye and say we have a timeline on the arena? No, he couldn't say that. But the players don't feel like you cared about them at all either. I know. How do I know? Because I asked them. They don't feel like you cared at all. Yeah. In the way you operated, the various issues, whether it's their travel, whether it's their training facility where they're riding golf carts to an offsite. There's a litany of examples of that where the players didn't feel like they were taken care of and they didn't feel like ownership cared about them. And again, I go back to that earlier thing that I would have been messaging the hell out of if I were running this franchise. We're losing tons of money, guys. I can't do it all. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I know this is tough on you. At least freaking communicate that to them. Make them understand just how much this is impacting you financially. I don't think it would have won everybody over, but I think it would have helped.
Well, when asked about moving the hockey part to Utah,
we don't.
Here's what he had to say.
One of the points of contention in the discussion was that Alex felt very strongly that they had done a very good job in terms of their plan to build this team. They will get, when they reactivate, a team that will be composed the same way that Vegas and Seattle were.
I'll add to that. I have been criticized for my hockey operations, which I find it baffling because I agree with you 100%. What we have created over the last 4 years is unbelievable. Never been done before. With the amount of draft picks that we have and the team that we've acquired and that I have, along with Bill Armstrong and my son and my family, handpicked, we have an incredible team that they're going to be receiving now in the next, it's on their way right now as we speak.
Well, this is news to us because Craig and I are at Leah's goes to the ice den often. Craig and I are around the arena. I am very close to this franchise. We talk to Bill Armstrong all the time. We know most of the scouts or a lot of the scouts in the hockey development program. And it literally news to me that Alex Meruelo Sr. and Jr. have been a part of that scouting staff and helping select players for this team because I was not aware of that. I was not aware that these were the guys that are out boots on the ground getting Logan Cooley and Dylan Gunther. It is good to know that they're so versatile that they can run media corporations, casinos, and yet scout hockey players. That is phenomenal. And by the way, they did do a good job because the rebuild is on track. They've done a wonderful job. And I hope other hockey markets are looking because if you need help in building your hockey program, Alex Jr. is available right now. He's got time. So get him out there. Flin Flon, Moose Jaw, Regina.
We should acknowledge the hockey ops staff while we're talking about it. Like, and in those areas, and I've written this, okay? I've written this.
Spending money.
Yeah, they invested in very important pieces of the organization. They invested in hockey ops. They invested in scouting. They invested in development. And as we have been chronicling, those areas of the franchise, they're killing it. They're doing a really good job. So credit ownership for investing in that. Again, you could have been messaging all these things. I'm investing in the things that I know will help us grow the hockey team, that will help the hockey team develop and be a winner, because that's the most important thing in the end. Again, it's about messaging. And I'm not saying that we're going to dismiss all these on our side, on media, is dismiss all the other things that we're hearing.
Yes.
But if you want to control the message, boy, you're controlling it really badly with the things you're putting out there.
And we're right. I want to reiterate what we said about the hockey program. Leah and I started here. You were at the arena the first few games. And so Leah and I held on the fort in these first few games, and they stunk. Like, this team was bad. And we kept saying rebuild, reminder, and get through the rebuild. They are approaching that. I think this is one area of this organization that I can agree with, that through development, scouting, and management and coaching, where they have become from where they started when this ownership group took over, I will give them the hockey part of it. And I do see
we heard
good
that
days
from
ahead.
the players too, like like Troy Stetcher, all the players that would come back and say, you hear all these things from the outside, but when you get into the actual team aspect of it, the coaching, you realize, wow, this is a really good situation here.
Yeah. Like, that's worth acknowledging.
Message
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah. And by the way, the first part of that answer was in regard to when the team is reactivated. If the team is reactivated, will it be under the same expansion draft rules as Seattle and Vegas? And Gary Bettman confirmed that yes, it would be. So that's the part that really hurts, because it's besides Vegas, which was a fluke. It's like, you don't usually get an expansion team that is automatically winning. You have to put in a few years of pain and misery, which is already what Coyotes fans have had to put up with for the last 3 years, if not the last 15 or
so 2035 at the earliest. Is that what you're telling me?
We got to do another rebuild, because what are Craig and I going to do? He's already got one new hip. Like, but by the time this team comes back,
I'll have a lot of new parts.
Can we even
by then.
see the ice from there? Hey, like, we're the guys in the Muppets.
We could.
That's me and you.
Yeah, we could just get a little balcony right behind Leah.
I think he should do that. I think Miss Meruelo should build you and I one of those balcony things for you and I. I think that's appropriate after all that we've been through, Craig.
Well, one more clip that we have, and again, the full press conference is available on our YouTube channel, PHNX Sports on YouTube. But one of the things that it really feels like, and Gary Bettman even said this, he said, my biggest disappointment throughout this whole process has been that the Tempe vote failed. And I think if you can look at a timeline of events that set things into motion, the Tempe vote is one of those things. And actually, Espo, our own Espo of PHNX, went.
The Suns?
Yep, and he asked a couple questions, including, this notion and things that we've heard that there was not the appropriate amount of money or resources put into the Tempe vote campaign. So here was the response to.
That's Monday night quarterbacking, right? I spent $7 million on this campaign. $7 million for a residency of 200,000 people, which actually 25, 30,000 people vote. Okay. Can you please ask Kansas City? They didn't have theirs passed either. And they won 2 Super Bowl. I think I personally went door to door knocking over 1,000 doors over a 30-day period. Not only did I, my family did that. All the executive team did that. We were there face to face with everybody. I did everything I possibly humanly could do to make this win. And it's unfortunate. And do I regret that? I understand where Gary's coming from. I'm unhappy that it happened. I'm not sure it's a regret for me, but I'm unhappy that it didn't pass, because we gave it everything I had, everything we possibly had to do it to make sure that we won. In fact, we were told to the last minute that we were going to win by a landslide. So to make those statements are people who really are not informed and just Monday night quarterbacking.
They were told they were going to win in a landslide. What does that tell you?
Bad polling data?
Bingo. Maybe you didn't hire the right people, which is a criticism that a lot of people who are experts in that area leveled at them, right? And we saw what the other side did. The other side
was out the next morning, Craig.
And they're good at their jobs. Whether you like the way they operate or not, they're good at their jobs. Yep. They were out the next morning. Were the Coyotes out the next morning?
No.
In fact, we had Coleman criticizing them for that very thing. Where are they? What are they doing?
We as an outlet at PHNX asked.
And what did they say? We want to be top of mind closer to the election.
It's not the right time.
Guess what? You lost the election by not being out the next day. It was over 2 weeks
before we got a statement from them regarding what was going to happen on this. And I think that was a huge mistake.
So $7 million is what Alex Meruelo said they spent on it. I don't know. Listen,
that's a lot.
There's public posting. Go ahead, Leah.
So Randy Keating, who is on the Tempe City Council, and we've had on our show.
So it's a real. This is a thing.
And you can go to his Twitter right now at Randy Keating. And we had tweeted that clip, and Randy Keating quote tweeted it and said, "False. Tempe wins. The PAC set up for the Yes campaign only spent $1.1 million according to the publicly available campaign finance report they submitted. Don't take my word for it. Here it is." And then he put a Google Drive link for people to go take a look at. So again, you can go look at his Twitter account at Randy Keating to see that.
I don't know enough about campaign financing to know if there might be other ways that they could have spent money.
Cat.
Cat's on a beach. Cat's on vacation on the beach doing work for us.
For PHNX too, because she's hanging out on the beach.
We probably owe her money at this point.
Billis, Cat.
Yeah. I don't know enough to know. Could there be other areas that he was talking about that they've spent money? I don't know. I would like to see the books to see that, but I know I've had multiple people tell me internally and externally they needed to be out the next day and they didn't do it.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's financial or just wherewithal. Hey,
there's a referendum, right? Referendums are tough. Gary made that point.
Said that,
Gary made this. Well, look what happened in Kansas City. They cited that as an example.
Loves their, like I said, Super Bowl's one that won it. Absolutely,
it's tough to get that passed
for sure.
But I don't know that they did all they could have done.
The messaging.
First of all, should it have been your staff, your players,
I was going to comment
getting out there and going door to door? It'd be cool to open the door and there's, Clayton Keller standing in front of me. I'd be like, well, this is really cool.
Can I tell a story?
But does Clayton Keller know how to message a political campaign?
I will tell you this.
Clayton Keller went to 1 year of college.
And I'm not going to call out guys by name. And I hope they're listening because I know a lot of staff people that work there. And when they were tasked with this, because they were tasked to go door to door, or you could make phone calls. And there's a young man that works there that isn't really good at public speaking. It's not part of his job. It's not part of his role. It's not what he does. It has nothing to do with why he's hired for this organization. Yet he was asked to make phone calls. Terrifically nervous. And the first few calls that he made while he was getting hung up on by Tempe voters, instead of saying a special referendum, he says, "I'm calling on behalf of the Special Olympics." And he just, he couldn't, and he didn't do it to be, he was terrified.
Wait, were people still hanging up on him? Because those are bad people.
But he was absolutely terrified because, and I felt so badly for this person that they had to make those calls because literally visibly upset for having to do that. Yeah. So you know what you do? He shouldn't be making those phone calls.
Exactly. You hire professionals.
You hire people to make those phone calls.
You hire professionals.
So if you spent $7, maybe you didn't spend the right $7. Or
what were they going to make
places.
Off of this?
What's that?
What were they looking to make?
You know the figures.
I don't actually. But
hundreds of millions of dollars.
Probably more than that even.
Over the lifetime of the contract and the deal.
Make a killing
and the real estate
on this if they had ever built it. So spend whatever people are telling you need to spend.
Spend it.
Spend it.
And again, and we talk about relocation. If the fee's $1 billion or $1.7 billion or $1.5 billion or $1.2 billion, it's a lot more than whatever it would have cost to win that election.
This is the thing. Like we just talked about hockey ops, right? Oh, you need to invest in this in order to get good. Okay, yeah, on board with that. Hey, you need to spend this money to win the election so you can have an arena and all the ancillary revenue that you're going to get from this. And you say no?
Yeah.
Help me understand that.
Yeah, this whole situation is why I'm drinking right now.
Yeah, cheers.
I went with the peach.
And I'm kilt lifter, as we all know. That's my favorite. I usually go WOW during the daytime, but because PHNX, everybody loves their WOW. WOW does not make it very long here at the PHNX.
That's true.
No, that's true.
But the diehards did hook us up. You got a 6-pack.
I got a 6-pack of kilt lifter.
I got a 6-pack
there,
of
baby.
peach.
That's my basket right there.
You got a 6-pack of WOW, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure if Bo Brock is in the office today, but this is not communal, Bo.
We have to carry our offerings around here, as people know we have a lot of thieves in the PHNX studio.
Yes, but we love.
I didn't. I thought about you, but I didn't look.
We love Four Peaks, obviously.
We do.
We will be drinking Four Peaks tomorrow at Illegal Pete's and all weekend long and all into next week as well because
Into Wednesday.
Obviously on Wednesday at Four Peaks. So you can visit fourpeaks.com/locator to find all your favorite beers and events. Check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. You must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and please enjoy responsibly.
And for you Coyotes ticket holders waiting for your refund, do I have news for you?
Oh, God.
Game Time is now an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball. So take your hockey money, throw it at the Diamondbacks because we all back the D-backs. And which makes getting tickets even easier at Game Time, right, Leah? We all do it. Prices on Game Time app are actually go down the closer you get to first pitch with killer last-minute deals, all-in pricing, views from your seat, and lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time takes the guesswork of buying Major League Baseball tickets. And I know because I went to who? Blink 182 at the Footprint Center. Every concert, every sporting event, every theater event, check out Game Time. They will save you money. I guarantee it. Again, it's so easy. Even I can do it. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
Somebody in the chat just said, time to turn it off for me. Too much complaining.
Well, I don't know what they were expecting. We're not talking like the playoff preview we've missed. We can talk about Gunther and Cooley and how great they've been, but I don't think it hits today.
One other thing that I want to mention that Gary Bettman said as well, and he said, I don't know how people are going to feel about this, but Scripps is swapping markets.
Yeah.
So Salt Lake City Scripps Sports will broadcast the games in Salt Lake City, and
Thanks, Gary.
the Valley will continue to be able to watch the games on Scripps.
Just what you want to do.
Yeah, Coyotes
you want to
fans,
hang with your Utah unnamed team for
do you
want
to watch Dylan Gunther lead the Utah Hockey Club in goal
the
scoring?
hockey team of Utah. What are we calling them if they don't have a nickname, by the way? If they don't
You
have a
can.
mascot?
I'm going
Scripps
Utah
Sports.
Hockey Club. I'm going Utah Hockey
Utah
Club.
Hockey
I like
Club.
that.
I
A little
actually
soccer
I don't
vibe to
mind
it.
that.
Or the Hockey Club of Utah. That's one of those is a soccer kind of feel to it,
So
right?
yeah, just twist the knife a little bit more. Sorry if we're complaining too much. Let's get to
Yeah,
the-
UHC. We could just go with that. Let's call them UHC. Just like, there we go. That works.
Oh man. All right. Connor Smith said, inconvenient truth, AM is a realistic expansion owner. I mean, I would say he's the most realistic way for the Coyotes to get a team back in the next little bit.
I will not comment on that at this time.
Okay.
Ian said, I was glad to hear Meruelo say, quote, I'm sorry, I take responsibility. You can argue how sincere the words were, but it was notable to hear, I think.
Yeah, you need to
We
say
all
it.
agree.
You need to say it.
That
I
was the
agree
most
with that.
important message to take today from fans.
Yes.
Yep. Faisal said, I'm here for On Fire PD. Also, I really feel like they're going to run into issues with Phoenix and the Suns playing huge blocker.
I don't actually. I don't.
And they were actually asked about that in the press conference, so you can watch that. Angela said, hubby wants to know who keeps the team history, AM's team or the new Salt Lake City team. I was reading that it's going to be a brand new history in Utah, but I don't know if that's true.
I didn't get to ask today, among many other questions I wanted to ask. So
there you go.
I, honestly, like at this point, like that's way down on my list of like who keeps the history. We got the Shane Doan banner at least.
Yeah.
Too soon.
Turd Ferguson, PD said that.
Yeah, Saturday Night Live. Burt Reynolds on Celebrity Jeopardy. If you know, you know.
First chance I've gotten to listen live. Became a diehard yesterday to help show support. Thank you so much. That's really, really great of you. Son is a junior Roadrunner. I'm devastated and heartbroken for the youth programs. Much respect to you guys and your content. Yotes forever. We're going to be talking more about youth hockey early next week, so stay tuned for that. Nicholas said with his Denmark super chat, love it. You believe AM will keep his promise after today?
Like that's just speculation. I have no idea. You know what? Listen, I believe in redemption. I believe that we should offer him. I believe he gets a chance. Well, he's going to get a chance. Let's just say it that way. He's going to get a chance. But as I was saying today, he has a steep mountain decline to win back this community. And I don't know that they are fully aware of it. I still think they're of the mind that, hey, we didn't do anything wrong, really. There were a lot of hurdles here. Right. He talked about the past, how they had, they were in the obstructed view seats in Phoenix and then moved to Glendale, and that was all a mistake. And it's all true. That's all part of the history of this franchise. but that has nothing to do with the decisions that they made. I don't think they understand just how low they sit on the scale of public opinion right now.
Sean sent us a super chat. How about everyone in the chat right now donates $10 to the Kachinas? It would certainly raise a lot of money. There's a lot of you watching, and we really appreciate it. Again, hit the like button, and we do have the link to RSVP to the event on Wednesday pinned at the top of the chat. It also, on that same link, is a place to donate to the Kachinas. And again, 100% of the money will go to the Kachinas. So if you would like, the link is pinned at the top of the chat. Roadwave Creative said, please donate to the charity you're with. Enjoy, you guys. And yes, your ex-owner, is such a flippin' kook muffin.
I like kook muffin.
That's a fun one.
That's a t-shirt or a band name.
Kook
Muffin.
I know
it is a really good band
That's
name.
what Shane always does. What's a band name? That's a band. Kook Muffin. I like it.
Nay goes, Gary was like, what my client meant to say. Big lawyer
That's
energy.
exactly
Yeah.
it. Huge lawyer energy.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh, that's good.
Our new friend Toby from Sweden. Okay, I've not seen the whole press conference, but hell, Meruelo played the victim card. Pisses me off since it's the fans, teams, and employees that are the victims. And lastly, Mike said, what is your favorite alcohol?
Wow. Look at Mike.
Mike, right now, it's
Where do
beer.
you see Mike? I see Mike going to go down.
Mike's going to be in Tucson tomorrow.
Well, it's beer, but I'm curious to sample some of those harder alcohols that Elliot Friedman
Thank
sent
you,
us.
Elliot Friedman.
Yeah, seriously, we haven't thanked you on the show. We just thank you on Twitter. Elliot, thank you very much. That was incredibly thoughtful of you.
Elliot Friedman.
Yeah.
He understands, though.
Yeah.
Drawn it. And I'll ask the magic behind the Mac. Danielle, what was it? Mexican candy shots? Is that a thing?
Oh, yeah, that we did at Illegal
We did
Pete's.
Illegal Pete's. We're going to Illegal Pete's tomorrow.
Ooh.
The difference is this time I will be aware that Mexican candy is actually Tajín spice and not sugar. So when you go in expecting like red sugar and it's Tajín, it's different.
Yeah.
Oh, Petey,
Michaela just said off camera,
remember my
that's the
first
whitest
time
thing
too,
you've ever
buddy.
said.
But when's the last time? Big surprise, Pete doesn't go around to bars having shots. You know, like I'm 50 something.
I mean, we
50-something.
just did last week, buddy, so I don't know what you're talking
That's
about.
true.
Oh my gosh. Brandon said, from Salt Lake City, your coverage has been great. I have learned a ton about the team. It sucks that it went down this way. Hope you keep covering UHC. I like UHC.
Can I say something to Brandon?
Yeah.
Because, and this is sincere, and I know there was a Salt Lake City sucks chant at the arena. Please understand that that's the sentiment of the fans at the time in a very emotional thing. There is no ill will to the city of Salt Lake City.
No.
There is absolutely no ill will to the hockey team moving. There really isn't. We just miss our team, Brandon. But I do want to say this. The one thing that PHNX Coyotes has always done is we've wanted to give you background and teach you the game and teach you the players and make you feel part of this community through the players. I want to let the community of Salt Lake City and their hockey fans know that this, before we sign off as the PHNX Coyotes, one thing we are going to do is we're going to share that knowledge of the players, of the history of the team with you, so that when you go to the arena in October, you're boots on the ground, ready to go to support the guys that we spent so much time loving, embracing, and supporting. We want you to do the same to them. So we're going to make sure you see who they are, and we're going to give you all of the information we can to give you to make sure you can take them in like they're one of your own.
Absolutely. And thanks for watching, by the way. Wildly said, wonder what happens to the draft picks playing for the Roadrunners next year, and then said money for the Kachinas as well.
Yeah, that whole situation with the affiliate is interesting as well.
We'll talk more about this. And then Mike said, Scotch? Thanks for the super chat. Anything else before we close out on today?
I just want to note that we're going. Oh, go ahead, Petey.
No, you go.
I just want to note that we're headed to Tucson to watch a team that is stunning us. Like, they just went and beat Coachella in Coachella without all these guys that we're talking about.
Right.
You know, the Coyotes just reassigned Josh Doan and Dylan Gunther and Michael Kessering to Tucson. Maybe we'll see them this weekend if we get a chance, if we get lucky. But this team is a marvel with what they've accomplished. Right. They're still sitting in second place. When they called up Josh Doan, I'm looking at this roster and I'm looking at their schedule. I'm like, this team could sink to 7th place. I really thought it was possible. Now they need 3 points to clinch second place. You know, if Ontario loses a game too, they only need 2 points to clinch second place. So they're in a great spot right now, and they're going to have this real talent infused into their lineup. How do you think Dylan Gunther is going to look in the AHL right now after ripping up the NHL the way he did?
Yeah, and I want to say this too. Like, when we go down there to Tucson tomorrow, clearly what our focus was today was the press conference with Alex Meruelo and Gary Bettman. Tomorrow our focus is on rooting for a team in Tucson that deserves support. and deserves the fandom that we have up here in the Phoenix area. Let's give it down to them because they are still here and they're running for a playoff spot, and it's going to be positive and it's going to be fun and we're going to have a good time. And I can't wait. I know I talked to Josh yesterday and they're going to be in the building. Still not sure if they're going to play or not, but he's going to be in the building. So we'll make sure one of the people we talked to on the post-game show is going to be Josh Doan. It's going to be all positive. We're not talking Salt Lake City. We're not talking about that at all in the post-game show. It won't even come up. So if you're tuning in for arena news, we're not talking about it. We're talking about the Tucson Roadrunners and their run through the playoffs. And we're also going to be there to celebrate this coaching staff that has done an absolutely amazing thing led by Steve Potvin and what they've done with a team that has been patchworked together for this entire season. And we're going to celebrate all of their accomplishments.
And the community too, right?
Absolutely.
There's a community
excited.
of hockey people down there too. So yeah.
Toby said, I'm planning on winning the lottery tomorrow and visit you next week. I will bring Swedish beer and vodka. Love that plan,
I don't know
Toby.
if we're ready for the Swedish vodka. I've seen those Swedes they can drink.
And then Charles said, as a Blackhawks fan, sorry for your loss. I got 3 PHNX t-shirts the other day and we'll continue to support you all. Really appreciate it. And I should mention, I haven't mentioned it yet on the show. It's kind of depressing, but great for everyone. There's a 50% off sale on Arizona Coyotes gear in the PHNX locker right now. So all of our Arizona Coyotes shirts, which I have to say are probably the best at PHNX, are all on sale right now for 50% off. So get them.
Do you think Jordan Schmaltz would sell them for us?
Yeah, seriously.
Or I know Alex Jr. He's really good at marketing streetwear and T-shirts. Maybe he could help out.
I wonder if we're gonna get
Did they put their stuff 50% off?
Are we going to get a new line in the fall of Coyotes gear?
It would not shock me.
I swear to God,
whatsoever.
I would bet there's a new line in the fall of streetwear saying, "Hey, just for you, save the date."
I'm just gonna say it too. So the Meruelo family was there, and Alex Jr. was there, and he was wearing one of the hats from one of the several fashion lines.
Did he have a suit on?
He was wearing a like what Craig is wearing, like a shirt and pants. Yeah.
So old style clothes from the 80s.
Wow.
Wow.
Too soon?
Savage.
I have to throw I got to throw it somewhere, Craig.
Here, Flex?
No, I'm sorry, Craig. That was not what
Flex is taking notes for HR.
I've
over
got
there.
a lot of anger built up today, Craig. I'm sorry. I apologize. That was not fair. That was
Buddy, these are at least
Connor
from the
Ingram would have
90s.
given it to you. Connor Ingram would have given it to you.
Kills me every time he sees me.
So I do apologize.
That's a positive to them going to Utah.
Yes.
I won't have my fashion.
I'm sorry,
questioned
and I
anymore
was
by Connor
angry,
Ingram.
and I didn't.
I
do want to say this.
Crocs, by the way. Crocs.
Go look on Twitter.
Walking around in
and he
Crocs.
quote tweeted it. It's so funny.
Yeah, he did.
I do think, again, and I know we keep talking about what's been going on here, and I think today was really important that we talked about this press conference and then the actual what happened today. And I think that was the focus of the show. But I do want to say, again, and keep tuning in because we're not done yet. And I know there's different stories that we're going to tell over the next few weeks that are different than the arena. We are going to celebrate things like the history and the alumni, and we are going to tell those stories because they need to be told. Today just had to be a little bit different, and I still might tell stories. Chicken or salmon? If you know, you know.
Boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
All right. One last super chat
that
from the Extra Shift podcast. I've got a super chat streak to maintain. That press conference is something Gary didn't want AM speaking at all. There's some hints of that. Tawny said, PD, can I get a pop-up, please, LMAO one time?
My pop-up. We talked about the pop-up. The fashion pop-up during a game. No. We'll see. We'll see. I'm excited. The chances, if they do another pop-up of me actually showing up, probably pretty strong. I have not been to one yet, and it sounds like fun.
I've been.
And you did go, and we actually bought stuff.
I bought stuff for
I will be giving away mine. I'm going to say that right now.
And
I don't want it.
Antonio said, this may be unpopular, but if AM wins the auction, then I hope the arena gets built. P.S. Is Danielle drinking too?
See, and this is the difficult situation. It really is, because we all want a team back in the Valley, and the easiest path for that to happen is Mr. Alex Meruelo.
Do it right.
So it is difficult for us. We are going to be here to hold him to task to help do it right by the fan base. We can't do it right by the players. It's not our responsibility.
Got a lot of hurdles ahead, though.
But he's
not
got
just
to start
public
building
opinion.
the bridge. And if you want to start building the bridge, buddy, bring us in.
Yeah.
Like we talk to the fans. We are part of the fans. We know who the fans are. So if you want to build the bridge, start here, man. We always got an extra seat. We can pull up a fourth.
There you go. All right. Well, this has been a lot today. This has been long. Sorry for going over. Shout out PHNX Suns for being patient with us. But we appreciate everybody for watching, for tuning in, for listening. Be sure to hit the like button on this video. Subscribe to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel so you can watch the full presser. And there's tons of content on there as well. We have all of the breakup day interviews. We have post-game interviews from the last game at Mullet. So much on there. And we will go live tomorrow after the Roadrunners game as well for a post-game of sorts. We won't be breaking down the game, so don't worry if you're unable to watch the game, but we're going to have plenty of special guests on that one. Tons of special guests.
Thank you, Adrian Denny.
Yes, thank you, Adrian. But again, we really sincerely appreciate you all for listening and tuning in and sending all really nice messages over the last week or so. So sincerely appreciate it. Again, we'll be live tomorrow night from down in Tucson. You can follow us on Twitter at SPetersHockey, who Tawny wants you to say pop-up.
Pop-up.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, because I did pop-up. That was a funny thing during the thing. I was so mad. I do have anger issues.
At Leah Meruelo, at Craig S. Morgan, at Abrica Danielle. You can follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_Coyotes. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody, and we'll talk to you all soon.
We all silly like the mayor.